Hey, Donald Miller here. So it is the 31st of May, and we're going to do things a little different here. All right. So, one, this video is going to go out for clientele, but as well as aspiring apprentices in this trade, okay? Because you'll understand what I'm talking about. And I want to give credit to this video from Platinum Plumbing, okay? They're out of Phoenixville, and I'll explain why as we go on, okay? But Platinum Plumbing is the reason why this video is being made. And again, they bailed me out for like the fourth or fifth time yesterday, okay? And they didn't even have to show up on the job. It was just a matter of just a simple phone call and someone that cares on the other end. And that speaks volumes, because no matter what your business model is, no matter how much marketing goes into business, a tradesman cares. And if a tradesman owns a business, it's a big difference than just a business model with a bunch of employees and they pretend they care and you get shuffled around on the phone. But you never really get someone that truly cares and walks you through it. Well, that was a little different yesterday for me. And this is how we're going to pull this all together. So I'm a tradesman, okay? I've had my own business for over 20 years, and I eat, breathe, sleep my trade. I love what I do. The money is a bonus, but I really, truly love my trade. And if you love your trade, you conduct yourself differently, okay? You talk to people differently. It's not all about dollars and cents. And that's a problem today when you go and you call a trade and all you feel is like a dollar sign to them. That's all it is, just in and out. Customer service, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And you just feel like you're being used and abused. That's not how it always used to be, okay? There used to be tradesmen that as they became more skilled in the trade, they would have their own business, and then they would have a tradesman model, the business model of a tradesman. And that type of business model, maybe 10% of the companies out there today, maybe, if you're lucky. And I'm one of those 10%. So when clients call my company, our job is to give them the best quality service genuinely, okay? Not as some sales pitch, but in reality to take care of them, to whatever their concern is, let them know if it is a major concern or if it's not. Good example. I had a customer yesterday ask me, do they need a 200 amp service? The 90% of sales companies out there will always push a 200 amp service on you. We don't. If your service is warranted for a 200, we'll explain what that means. We'll explain how we go about determining, do you really need a 200 amp service? If you have gas operating everything in your home and you're not even thinking about central air, there's no reason to go to a 200 amp unless you have like a 4,000 square foot home. But anything under 4,000 square foot, even if you do a load calculation on that home, 9 times out of 10, it'll stay within that 100 amp range, okay? And the load calculation is even a little pushy towards 200, okay? But that's us just being genuine with our clients and explaining to them that they don't always have to spend that money. And by the way, if you're looking for a 200 amp service, maybe $5,000 is usually a good ballpark. It might float a little bit to like 5,500 if it's a difficult one. But if it's over 5,500, I'm telling you now, you're paying for the marketing, you're paying for the advertising, and, you know, if you're hearing their name on KYW that's kind of what you're paying for, because in order to pay for all that marketing, they have to increase their prices. Okay. Again, it's just a sales pitch. All right. Does not mean the people in that industry, in that company, are quality tradesmen. If they're putting a lot of money into marketing, that doesn't mean they're putting a lot of money into their people. All right. So, being a tradesman is completely different than having a job. And I was taught this from a very young age, that a tradesman cares about the quality of the work that he's doing at all times. All right. He cares about installing whatever he's installing correctly to the highest quality. And that's how he practices. He doesn't practice just getting it done. He practices getting it done in a manner so it lasts for as long as possible. So if you install a switch, that switch should be operable for 20 plus years. If you install a switch badly, it's going to have issues within 5 years. Okay. And that's the difference. So when you're hiring companies, the price is one thing, but the quality level is another. And it's hard. What upsets me is some of these companies out there that are pushing these sales, they push quality, but it never comes through. Usually they're one and done. So you'll hire a company, you're not going to like the company, you're not going to hire them again, and you're off to looking for another company. But tradesmen have a different business model. They want to be your client. They want to be your company for life. Okay. So, and I started this off with Platinum because this is like the 4th or 5th time I've called Platinum. All right. And usually it's never during business hours. Well, usually when I'm calling, it's because I'm either a wreck about what happened and I'm calling after hours, and I get someone on the phone. And, I get Kevin on the phone, and Kevin breaks it down. He goes, "What's wrong? What are the problems?" And I go and I explain it, and it's back and forth, and he'll tell me if there's something I need to be concerned about, or if it's something that I just calm down. Like, we'll work through this. It's not a big deal. Like, I don't know plumbing. Okay. I know electric. So when I'm looking for companies to hire, I'm looking for tradesman companies, and that's what Platinum is. And they've been my plumber for over 4 or 5 years. And yesterday, and I'll explain what happened. So I'm having a small addition put onto my house, and the excavator dug up my well line. Okay. Dug it up in a bad manner. I mean, it was rough. Sparks are flying, and the expansion tank got pulled across my basement and slammed up against the wall because the excavator pulled the line, so blew all the PVC parts in the house. Outside water's going everywhere because he hit the water line, he hit the well power, the sub panel going out to a 4,000 square foot pole barn, as well as lighting circuits for the pole barn. So I mean, this guy hit the money shot. And I'm frantic because the well water's from the house, and I have 4 children. So we put everything together. We spliced the well line back up. We repair the electric outside. We go inside, and we have to re-PVC all the joints to get the expansion tank put back together. So we're not turning power on until about 7 p.m. Turn power on, nothing. Go all the way out to the well, and the well's all the way on the other side of the property. Power's at the well, okay, still nothing. So it's 7 p.m., and now it's getting a little nervous that we're not going to have water. So I make the phone call, and instead of going to an answering machine or whatever, I get Kevin. And, I tell him what's going on. He's like, all right, we gotta do a couple things. And he allows me, because, If the person isn't capable on the other side, no one's going to advise you what to do. Kevin knows I'm capable of dealing with certain things, all right? And he advises me on what to do, and I do it. And I was worried that we blew up the well pump. It's a 500-foot deep well. It would be a nightmare to have to pull that thing all the way out of the ground in order to replace it. So luckily at 7 p.m. last night, I was able to at least get the pump operational, which means the pump isn't bad, okay, which means it's serviceable with not so much of a dramatic amount of work having to be done. That typically wouldn't happen if I were to have called one of these plumbers that advertise, with all this marketing. If it was, I would have been put in for an emergency call. Probably would have cost me an arm and a leg to get the guy out there to give me the same results. Okay, that's because they're for profit. Tradesman companies are for the long haul. So a tradesman company will take a phone call. We will advise you on what to do. And it's not always about getting a billable guy on site, okay? It's more about the relationship with the client and building a relationship as years go on, all right? The other side, the other business model states that I believe, okay, and there's actually, this is what is upsetting in this industry. There's companies out there that take advantage of the homeowner that are looking for services, okay? There's companies and there's a consultant firm that does this. They go out and they tell you companies, a customer is going to call you once every 7 years in the electrical side, okay? So you have one shot every 7 years to get as much money out of that homeowner as possible. And they teach you how to sell to the homeowner to get as much bang for the dollar out of that homeowner, okay? It's a deplorable business tactic, but they're using it, okay? And typically they'll come in, they got their button-down shirt, like you can tell a sales pitch when you're seeing a sales pitch. They offer to do safety checks. They're so deplorable. The reason I have them on the wall, no sales pitches, no fake safety plans, because that's all that's all the stuff these companies are doing. And as a tradesman, it goes against what I was brought up to, okay? As a tradesman, I was brought up in this trade to take care of your clientele genuinely, to be honest with them, to have integrity with them. And over the years, you build a clientele list up, and that clientele list feeds your business. And as long as you're doing good quality work, you never have to worry because your business is going to grow with your reputation. That is not what's going on today with 80% of the companies. That business model still exists, but it exists with people that are real tradesmen in this industry. The other side of the industry is a for-profit industry, and you really need to be careful because the for-profit industry, I don't know what you're getting out of that. I've seen some of the guys come out of that industry, and they don't last a week with my company because their quality level isn't really there. They're nice and polished and they look pretty, but when it comes to the physical work, we're seeing flaws in their installation practices. And it's not just one, it's for some reason at a trade school, guys think they're going to make $100,000 a year. So this is what they do. They go to these companies and these companies offer them a commission based on how much they sell to the homeowner. So now this guy that doesn't have a lot of experience goes into the homeowner's home and whacks them over the head with every possible thing you could possibly charge because that guy's getting a commission check out of it. And at the end of the year, this new guy to the trade that doesn't have that much experience is going to get paid based on commission. So he's incentivized to basically take advantage of the homeowner whenever possible. And they do go to these sales seminars to learn how to take care of the homeowner. Okay, we don't do that. And most tradesman companies don't do that. That's the people that are doing that are taking advantage of the homeowner. And as a tradesman, I don't condone it. I don't like it. When guys come in from that type of industry into my company, we almost have to deprogram them. You know, typically when I advise these guys that are coming from these other companies, I tell them to be honest with the homeowner. Have a conversation with the homeowner. Explain to the homeowner what your eyes as a tradesman is seeing. And if you can't have that conversation, that means you are not ready to be in front of a homeowner yet. Okay? If you can only stick to a sales pitch, but you can't explain the trade, you shouldn't be in that position. Someone put you into that position for the wrong reasons. All right? That is not the case with tradesman companies. Tradesman companies rely on the quality level of the tradesman, the skill level of the tradesman. They might be a little rough, but usually a good tradesman, it's hard to say that. Good tradesmen are worth their weight. They're worth their weight. And there are tradesman companies that are still out there. You just have to be careful. And that's why I started this plug with Platinum, because Platinum could have easily have set me up with a service call, okay? They are a company, okay? And I hire them all the time. You know, whenever I need plumbing work, I get onto their schedule, come out. But it's what they do beyond that. And it's also when they do come out for service, they're fair. They're not trying to price gouge me every 5 minutes. They're very fair with their numbers. And the level of communication I have when I'm in a nervous situation is amazing. And yeah, that's the company I've been using for almost 5 years now. And I'm grateful for them. All right. So Kevin, if you're still watching this at 17 minutes in, thank you. I appreciate it. You're a tradesman, you know. It's nice to see another one out there. So it's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. God bless.